Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. We're going to talk about the top 5 secrets to starting a CNA school. So as you know, I am Victoria Randall. I am your pusher, and we are going to get started. Welcome to the CNA Instructor's Secret Cocktail. All right. So as you know, you've been looking and looking and looking all over the internet, trying to find information about how to start your CNA school. I know, I've been there, I've done it. You can't find the information anywhere. It's ridiculous, pretty much, to say the least, okay? So I've been where you are, and I definitely sympathize with you. So I'm here today to talk to you about how you can get through that journey peacefully and actually where you want to be, okay? So before we get started, I want to know, where are you guys from? So if you could, go ahead and type into the chat box, let me know what state you are from, because at the very end, I'm going to provide you with a link directly to your state so that you can know who is over your program, CNA program in your state. You'll have the contact information, their telephone number, as well as the web address, so that you can move forward with reading up and finding that stuff out. Now, I will say, unfortunately, some states don't even have this information online. Delaware is one that doesn't have it online. I want to say New Jersey. There's quite a few, okay? But I can still get you in touch with the right person, even if there isn't a website. So go ahead and type the state you're in. I have my assistant, Leah. She's going to go ahead and put down all those different states so that I can make sure I get that information to you. So far, I see someone is here from Michigan. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining. Please know at the very end, we're going to do a brief Q&A session. So definitely make sure that your chat box is working by typing in your state, okay? And at the very end, I'll answer questions you have. Please know, unfortunately, I can't answer questions that are state specific because every state is different. I mean, every state. Some states only allow RNs. Some only do, will also do LPNs. It's very diverse based upon the state. So I can't get into state specifics, but I can definitely lead you in the right direction, okay? If you look down below, there is a subscribe button, the little red subscribe button. Go ahead and press subscribe for me now, if you will. I'll be putting out videos weekly that are going to expound upon a lot of things that I talk about in this webinar, and anything that you may want to know that may be state specific, okay? You guys just tell me what you want, and I'll make sure I push that information out to you. Also, down in the description box, you'll see information to sign up for my emails if you're not already getting them. You'll also see a link to some things that I discuss and talk about in this webinar as well, okay? So anyway, I did send out a survey to you guys. Some of you did fill out the questions to the survey. Thank you so much, because that's how I know how to help you. One of the questions that I asked on the survey was, what is it that you feel that you need help with? 78% of you said that you wanted help just trying to figure out where to even start in starting a CNA, right? CNA program. And 47% of you said you needed help writing a curriculum. I feel you on that. The curriculum is hell to write. Trust me, I know. So I understand your concern, and we're going to get to that too. Now, I also asked, did you have a business plan? A whopping 95% of you said you don't, okay? And 5% of you said you do. So if 95% of you say that you don't have a business plan yet, but 47% of you are already ready to purchase a curriculum, that shows me that there's a little bit of a knowledge gap that I want to make sure I fill today. Because anytime you start investing your money into a project, you want to make sure that it's something you actually want to do, and you figure that out through your business plan. So we'll talk about that too, okay? Now, I asked, do you know who regulates the CNA program in your state? 52% said yes, 47% said no, so half and half. And that's fine. It means you've been doing some research. I asked, do you know what type of licensing you need in starting a CNA school? And 78% of you said you don't. And trust me, I didn't either until I got into it. So we'll talk about that too, okay? So now that we went over these results, let's get into discussing the top 5 secrets to starting your CNA school, okay? So secret number 1, I just said it, you need to have a business plan. I know you hear it a million times, but it's so true. Do not set yourself up for failure. And I'm going to give you an example about why you need a business plan. As a nurse, when you go to work, do you not research your patient? You will never touch your patient without opening up that chart, learning about that patient, getting report from the nurse prior, finding out who the doctor is that in case you need a call for emergency. You would also know what medications they are on. You would do your research before you lay hands on that patient. And you want to treat your business exactly the same, okay? You got to do your research. And we'll talk about that, what kind of research you need to look for. All right, here's some examples. Did you know that in order to have a CNA school, you need to get an annual fire inspection? That's annual money coming out. You got to make sure you budget for that, okay? There's going to be marketing costs. And I hope you guys have your pen and you're writing this down, okay? There's going to be marketing costs. Do you want to do Facebook marketing? Do you want to do Google ads? Do you want to do Instagram ads? Are you going to be on the local radio? Do you want to rent booths in the area as a vendor at events? What types of things do you want to do? How much money is that going to cost you? You need to budget that into your business, because I'm telling you right now, no one's just going to pop up at your door and say, I want to be a CNA. They have to know that you're there. All right. Students need background checks. Your employees are going to need background checks. Depending on how much turnover you end up having, you might have to do multiple background checks. So that's something also you need to think about, how much those background checks are going to cost. All right. Lab equipment. This is a big one. Pocketnurse.com. And if you look down the description, you don't have to do it now, but it'll be there. Okay. Pocketnurse.com is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place to get all of your equipment and supplies. It is very cost effective and they ship and get it to you quickly. So you need to think about, what supplies do you need? You need isolation gowns. You need stethoscopes. Do you want to invest in bedpans? Whatever it is that your state says you need as far as equipment, you need to make sure you consider that in your budget. And last but not least, I'm just going to say books, right? You got to have the books for the students. Are you going to purchase one book per student and allow them to take it at the end of the class? Or are you going to make your students reuse them for each different class, recycle them? So, that you have to look at your budget and think about what works best for you. I personally did not reuse my books. I felt like my students needed their books in order to study. So I don't do that. All right. Anyway, secret number 2, understand the different business types. We want to start a business, but then we go to the Secretary of State's website and we're like, what? LLC, sole proprietor, a S corporation. What is this? Right? So I'm not a legal expert. I can't tell you what you need to do or how you should decide, but what I will say is that you definitely need to do your research. So if you do want to consult an attorney, if you do want to look on YouTube, maybe there's an attorney website that has a YouTube website and he gives this type of information on his website, he or she. So, do your research, okay? It may cost you a little money, but it's worth it in the end, always. Secret number 3, how to find a location. Everyone's been emailing me about this. And real quick, I'm going to say hi to, Sharon in North Carolina. And then we have somebody here from Florida. So again, if you're just joining and you have, please let us know what state you're in, okay? But anyhow, location. So research the area that you plan to service. Think about a multitude of things. You want to know, are there businesses in the area that you can partner with, like nursing homes or hospitals? Because those are going to be essential to your development with your students, right? You want to know if you're choosing an area that there's already a whole bunch of CNA programs in, or if you're going to be the first one to come in, because then you get to monopolize. So that's awesome. So what I would suggest is going to Google and searching the zip code and CNA schools in that zip code or surrounding zip codes as well, and find out whether or not there's already CNA programs there. If there's 1 or 2, no big deal. There's enough money out there for everyone. But if there's like 6, you might want to consider a new place, okay? Also, you want to know about the people that live in the area, right? You don't want to put your CNA school in an area where the population are 40-year-olds who make $80,000 a year and have bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, because that's not the target population you're looking for. People usually go to school and people usually work in areas where they live. So you don't want to put your school in the wrong area. So make sure you're thinking about that as well, okay? You think about your target audience. Who are you trying to get to sign up for your CNA school? We know that those are people that are entering the workforce, entering school. Look at that. Let me give you a good resource. And if you look down in the description box, I put this here as well, the Census Bureau. Yes, the Census Bureau. Great information there. There's a link in the description box that takes you to the Census Bureau. All you have to do is put in your city and state, and it will tell you everything about who lives in your area, all the way down to their age, their sex, their ethnicity. It tells you about their income, their education level, everything. It's a wonderful tool. So that'll definitely help you determine where should you put your CNA school, okay? Let me think if there's anything else I'm missing about that. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, one other thing, when you're researching your other CNA schools, stalk them. Yeah, I said it, stalk them. Find out what they do. How much do they charge? Do they include CPR? Are they reusing books, or are they allowing their students to keep their books when class is over? Are they allowing the students to come in and use the lab after hours for no additional fee, or are they charging them? Find how you can leverage your CNA school to make your CNA the school people want to go to. And you can even use that when people call and say, tell me about your CNA school. You can bring up all the things that you know the other CNA school is not doing to help get them to want to come to yours, okay? All right, so secret number 4, you need more than just a curriculum, okay? This is everyone thinks they need curriculum. I need the curriculum. I thought it, I need a curriculum. I was doing anything for a curriculum. I was breaking my neck trying to find somebody who can write a curriculum for me, right? And then I did that. Some of you may have gotten my emails and have already heard I spent a good $399 for a curriculum, only to find out that it was an old curriculum. It was no longer any good. It was written off of a book that was published over 5 years before. And I was missing all types of forms, okay? There's forms galore that you are supposed to make on your own that you don't even know anything about. And we'll talk about that too. I can't get into specific. I think I'm going to actually make a whole separate webinar for that because it's deep, okay? You have to make a policy manual for your students. You have to make criteria, pass and fail criteria for lab, pass and fail criteria for classroom, all types of things that they're looking for that people are not telling you when they're consulting with you to help you start your CNA school. They're not telling you this. So that's what I'm here for. Your pusher is here to help you understand what you need and empower you with that knowledge, okay? All right, so also, depending on the state or city that you're in, your business or building alone may need certain type of licensing, okay? You might need an occupational license to actually even be in the building and do things there, in addition to your business license, okay? So those are 2 separate licenses, a business license, an occupation license. You also need your fire certification to prove that you have went through fire certification. Let me talk to you real quick about what that looks like. The fire certification and inspection ensures that in the event of a fire, no one is going to die in your facility, okay? Meaning the locks, some doors have locks on both sides. That's a problem because if it's a key lock and the key's not there and I'm on the other side of the door and a fire breaks out, I'm dead, right? So they look at that. They look at if you have exit signs, all types of things that you may not have known or to think about. I didn't know to think about them. So I spent a good $500 on exit signs alone when I opened my school. Okay. So things you need to be aware of. Depending on your state, you may need to know exactly how to execute the curriculum. Okay. Nurses, we're taught how to teach patients about their bodies and about their health, but we don't really quite know how to teach another person, especially like CNA students, some of us who have not taught before, we don't know how to teach them when it comes to the affective, psychomotor, as well as the cognitive aspects of learning, because you have to make sure that you address all those for each objective, okay? And those of you who have not written a curriculum before, you'll see that each state has different objectives that you have to hit. And in those objectives, you have to offer 3 different ways of learning for each objective. So it's a learning curve if you've never taught before. If you were a nurse in your prior life, then you got this. But if not, it's a learning curve. So that's what I'm here for, to help you with. There's also different forms, like I told you. There's attendance forms you got to put together. There are pass and fail criteria, late policies, making sure that they sign, that they know if they're late or if they're absent, because some of these students will go back if they fail. Oh, they'll go back and they'll find a way to get you in trouble with the state. So you got to make sure that you lay out everything, okay? Let me see. So we have some more people from Michigan. Okay. All right. Awesome. But anyway, so that is the basis of what I want you to know. Now, we'll just kind of plug this in real quick, is that I do a seminar. Okay. I'll have a seminar coming up October 22nd in Georgia. It's a full day seminar from 8 to 5 where I go in and I teach you all those things. And not only do I teach you, but we are going to complete those things. Okay. You will have all of your forms. You will have all of your student manual. You will have your curriculum written, the first 16 hours worth, because the first 16 hours are very specific per the state of Georgia. So we make sure we get into that, and I empower you so that you know how to move forward to finish up the additional hours. So there is a link at the bottom in the description also that talks about the seminar. So, and it goes into more detail about what I do in the seminar and what I offer. So feel free to click that link a little later and take a look at the registration form and see if you feel it's something that you might like, okay? If you are at the point where you are ready to write your curriculum, this is ideal for you. If you're still in the I'm not sure phase, I need to figure out this is really for me, don't waste your money, okay? I don't want you wasting your money on something that you don't need just yet. If you're ready to move forward and you know this is what you want to do, then this seminar is for you, all right? All right, so secret number 5, you must find a nursing home to contract with before submitting to the state. The state is not going to say, approve you and say, yes, you can start your CNA program, because if you don't have a place to send them to for their clinicals, then they're never going to graduate. So they're not going to approve you. So you have to take time to, get to know somebody at these nursing homes. If you don't already, rub a little shoulders, bring a little lunch, something, whatever you got to do. You got to get in there because it is saturated at these nursing homes. Most states don't even allow you to do clinicals at a hospital for CNAs. It has to be a nursing home. I can tell you right now, specifically the state of Georgia for sure. And each state is a little different, but the majority of the states do want you to be at a nursing home. So you got to get to know these people, okay? You're going to find it a little hard to get in if you don't already know someone in a nursing home. That's why I'm telling you now, you need to go and find out who the director of nursing is at these nursing homes. Get to know them, find out what they need so that you can barter with them. Let them know your mission, let them know your vision for your school, that you're trying to create, the most competent CNAs, and that your CNAs are going to be top notch, and that your CNAs are going to be ones that they're going to want in their facility. And my CNAs are all living in this area, and your facility is in this area. So it's an ideal partnership. You have to really sell yourself. I'll do half off CPR for your employees, or you can say I'll do a free annual CPR training for your employees. Whatever you want to do to get in that nursing home is what you got to do, okay? And you can write that all up in your contract. I also go over the contracts in the seminar also, because that's something no one told me either, was how to write a contract with a nursing home and what that looks like and so forth. So I can help you with that too. So if you haven't yet already, like I said, build a relationship with a DON at a nursing home. They are the gatekeepers, okay? Now, there are some nursing homes that will not allow students at all because of insurance reasons and things like that. So unfortunately, like for instance, my clinical spot is a good 30 minutes away from our facility, unfortunately, because the area is a little saturated in terms of students, unfortunately. So, but we get there. My students, they'll carpool with me. We do what we got to do. We get there. All right. So anyway, let's review. For review, we talked about the top 5 secrets you need to know. Secret number 1 was you must have a business plan to be successful. Okay. Be on the lookout for a webinar series that I will be doing to help you with your business plan. All right, you got to have one. I think some of you may already have a link to a blank business plan that I've given out to you to kind of help outline and show you what to do, but I'm bringing in a specialist. So I'm bringing in a specialist. That's what she does. She works with businesses to help them get their business plan together. And we're going to do a seminar for you guys to get you started. Okay, so be on the lookout for that in your email. Make sure, number 2, make sure you understand the different types of businesses, right? Sole proprietor, LLC, all that. Make sure, number 3, make sure you find a location that makes sense. Number 4, you need more than just that curriculum. Don't get hung up on it. All right. And then number 5, find a nursing home to contract with. Please, please, please find one now. Like, even if you haven't started writing your curriculum, find one now. All right. Now, I did ask you guys a few questions in the survey, and then we're going to go ahead and get to your questions in just a minute. But some of the questions that was asked in the survey were the following. People asked me, size. What size of a building do I need? How much space do I need? So for instance, and then this also ties into another question, which was how many students can I have? In the state of Georgia, for instance, you can only have a ratio of 14:1. So 14 students to 1 teacher. Now, if you had 2 teachers, then yeah, you can double that 14, but the ratio is 14:1. So it's all about what numbers you think you can bring in. Determines how big your facility will be. My facility, 2,000 square feet. And there was 3 separate rooms. And so, Pete, that was another question. Do I have to have separate rooms? Do I have to have my classroom separate from my lab, separate from, this and that? Yes and no. It does not have to be a completely separate room, but there has to be some type of division or some type of a divider, okay? So again, a lot of that depends a little bit on the state, but as long as you can divide and provide privacy when in the lab, that's the most important, and that's what they're looking for. And I'm telling you right now that that's what they're looking for when these CNAs go for their skills checkoff to become a CNA. They're looking for, is this CNA providing privacy? Number 1. And you know that from nursing school, okay? Someone asked me, can you rent out space for mixed use? I tried that one. Honey. I tried that one. And it can work if only the following occur. Your setup for your CNA school has to be functional and set up 24/7. It cannot be broken down, put away to allow someone else to come in and do what they want, break them down and put yours back up. No. You can share space with someone, but your area has to be set up at all times. If the state ever comes and finds your things broken down and gone, you will be closed down. So, if someone's willing to share space with you and allow that, then yeah, by all means, you can share space, but just keep that in mind, okay? Someone asked, can you become a testing center? I love it. I'm going to be doing a video on how to monetize your CNA school, and that's one of them. Yes, you can become a testing center. And as a matter of fact, your students will be ecstatic if you're a testing center, because where they've learned, they actually get to test. And so they're way more comfortable when it comes time for testing. And you get paid a little stipend for actually having tests at your location. Not only will your students be able to test there, but students all around Georgia can test at your site too, once you become accredited as a testing site. So yes, you can. We will talk about that in another video because that is a lot, but just know that you can. Someone asked me startup costs. Hint, hint. Remember we talked about that business plan? Yeah, that's where this comes into. You need to look at that equipment list that the state provides you with, and you need to go through and find out price points for everything on that list, okay? Then you need to think about your building space. Then you need to think about your utilities. Then you need to think about your insurance, right? You need to think about your phone, your internet. You need to think about all those things and price out all those things in your business plan. And that's going to let you know what your startup costs will look like. That looks different for everyone. I found a lot of my stuff on Craigslist. I found a lot of my stuff people gave to me because I'm a nonprofit. So they just gave me things. They donated things for free. Some people want their things top notch and brand new. So they'll go out and buy everything brand new. So their startup cost is going to look different from yours. So just think about what it is, how you plan on going about getting your items will determine your startup costs. Okay. Someone asked me about additional resources for learning, such as supplemental materials for students. I love that question. I teach my curriculum and I write my curriculums based off of Hartman when I consult. So hartmansonline.com, awesome website. I actually think I forgot to put that in the description, so I'll do that shortly. But Hartman is awesome. And Hartman's, not only do they provide you with books and tests and handouts, but they provide you with videos to help you teach your students how to do their skills checkoffs. I mean, there's just a wealth of information. And so I love Hartman's. Hartmansonline.com is a really great resource for you guys. Okay. Let me see. I think I have just a few more questions. How many students can you have? I talked about that one. Okay, what are the qualifications to start a school? So this depends on your state too. Some of you guys are in states where you have to become an actual university or a college or a technical school before you can even become a CNA school. So it's two separate application processes. In the state of Georgia, you do not have to become a technical school or a college in order to become a CNA school. So we have it a little easier here, and there's a lot of other states like that too. So from a legality standpoint, there may not be a qualification per se that you need before you become a CNA school unless you are in one of those select states, okay? I know Mississippi is one, and so is New Jersey. But anyhow, legally, in terms of becoming an instructor, okay, some states, remember I told you states are different. So some states say only RNs can be instructors and that's it. And then other states say both, you know, RNs and LPNs. So it really depends. In the state of Georgia, you can even bring in phlebotomists and different people as supplemental instructors. You still have to have that RN, but you can bring in supplemental instructors. So each state is very, very different. So now I'm going to open up the floor. I want you to type your questions to me. Ask me what you want. Please keep in mind that if it's state specific, I'm not going to be able to answer. I'm sorry. But I think I have some questions here already. All right. So Crystal says, that's what I need to submit my application to the state. Crystal, what is it that you need to submit your application? We'll get back to that one. Frida says, how do you add programs to your CNA school, like an LPN program or a tech or EKG or phlebotomy? Great question. Again, that goes back to your state. So some states, especially for like the LPN, they are going to require that you become a actual university or college, and that is a separate application process that you would need to go through. And each state, a different person regulates it, right? It's very confusing depending on what state you're in. So I'm not sure what state you're in. Okay, you're in Georgia. So in Georgia, yes, you do have to move forward with becoming a university in order for the LPN program. For the phlebotomy and the EKG, you do not. That is just an extra certification program that you can apply for. But I suggest doing one at a time. You know, move forward with one application, submit it, be done, choose one, move forward, submit it, and move on. Dialysis tech is another one. I get a lot of phone calls about people wanting to be a dialysis tech. So that's one to think about also. So, okay, Crystal needs the contract for the nursing home, Crystal. I'm telling you now, rub shoulders, smile, bring lunch when you talk, whatever you got to do. Let them know how much of an asset you can be in partnership with them, and let them know. And don't do this over the phone. Don't do this over the phone. Find out who that contact person is and schedule an appointment with them and come in and have a face-to-face with them. You're never going to get it accomplished over the phone. Okay. Are there any other questions for me? I hope this was very informative, you guys. I hope I gave you so much information that you don't even have any questions. I do want you, those of you who have not yet, please click the subscribe button so that you can get future videos. Again, remember, I have a video coming out next week. We're going to be talking more about some of these things I touched on, like the business plan, like the different inspections or forms that you need, all kinds of things. So make sure that that you click the subscribe button so we can chat later. And also, if you're not already on my emailing list, make sure you subscribe to my emailing list. And the link is also in the description button below. What about day and night classes? Okay, so Crystal's asking about day and night classes. Yes, your program can be approved for as many different classes as you want. Weekend, day, evening, but of course you have to write separate curriculums for each. It sounds like a daunting task, but it's not, because as long as you write a curriculum once, you can use it multiple times. The only difference is you have to change the time frames and your lunch and your breaks, because you have to legally give your students breaks and lunches, even though we don't get them in the real world. You have to give them to your students. And so, but you can write as many as you want. You don't even have to meet daily. If you want to have a program that your students only meet on Mondays for 6 months, then that's what you do. You can write your program however you want. Let's see, Frida says, for the CNA school in Georgia, the Georgia Medical Care Foundation is over the CNA program in Georgia. And I can send out a link for that so that you know where to go to move forward with getting that application. And then Sharon says, for-profit or nonprofit. So that's up to you. The nonprofit route does take a lot longer, and it's more hustle. You're basically begging people for stuff. Okay. Whenever you do any type of nonprofit work, you're asking and begging people to give to your cause. Some people don't want to, some people love to. Okay. So I decided to develop a nonprofit because the population of individuals in the area I am serving are very underserved. And I know that they wouldn't be able to afford the program. So it was my thought process that I wanted to do everything I could to try to bring funds in to help them get this education and move forward with the program. Some people I'm successful in giving them free tuition. Other people do have to pay. So it just depends based upon their particular circumstances. But if you decide to go the nonprofit way, just know there's work behind it, but it's definitely worth it. Okay, so Lynn says, how many hours does the program have to be? Again, that is based upon the state. Federally, all CNA programs in the entire United States have to be at least 75 hours. Okay, the state of Georgia says, we want 85. And each state's different. Even though the state of Georgia said 85 hours, I personally said 85 wasn't enough and my students needed 92. I have the prerogative to do that, and so do you. So it's up to you as long as you meet that minimum requirements. Crystal says, I see my competition offer 2 weeks classes, and I feel that that's a lot in 2 weeks. I know, I agree 100%, Crystal. Those 2-week fly-by-night courses, I don't want them. I hate to say it, but I don't want them taking care of me. I don't want to hire them. I don't want it. But that's hard to compete with when people want to hurry up and get done, right? So that's where I got creative. And I said, yeah, you could become a CNA in 2 weeks, and it's only for $400, but guess what? You have to buy your uniform. Because remember, I was a stalker. Yeah, I was a stalker. I found everything out about those schools. You have to pay for your uniform. That's $60. You have to pay for your book. That was another $30. You have to pay for your CPR. That's $75. And I broke it down to my students. So by the time you were done, you're paying this, okay, already. And you think you're getting things done so quick, but you're still not going to be knowledgeable. I'm going to go the extra step with you. I'm going to make sure that you pass your exam. I'm going to make sure that you have the knowledge. So I'll talk to those students. Some students didn't want to come to me, and that's okay. The ones who don't want to put in the work, I don't want them anyway. Okay, so I was okay with that. So it's up to you. I know that seems like it's something hard to come up against, but stick to your ground, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to do 2 weeks and you think you can get those students everything they need in those 2 weeks, then by all means, you go for it and you do it. I know I couldn't. I didn't think I could anyway. So that's why I did longer. Now, if you can get students to come for 2 weeks and you have them go like 9 to 9, 12-hour shifts, 5 days a week to get those hours in quickly and all the extra hours to teach them everything, that's up to you. If that's what you want to do, you have the ability to make your CNA program however you want to make it. Frida says, send application in July already and no response. For the CNA program, you sent it in July, August. Well, yeah, it takes a while. It takes the state of Georgia, it takes them a good 60 to 90 days before they even respond to let you know. But I'm telling you right now, when they respond and they are ready to come to your facility, you better be ready too. Okay. because if they come and you're not ready, it's not a good thing. So start getting prepared now. All right. But yeah, Frida, you got over the hard part. I'm so happy for you. You've already submitted. Just get prepared and get ready. And let me know if there's any way I can help you in getting ready for your inspection, your state inspection. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you guys came out to with me tonight and ask me your questions and listen to what I have to offer. Let me know if you think this was informative. All right, let me know if you think this was helpful in the comments section. And again, remember to go ahead and look in the description box, kind of hit those links, play around, see what information you can get. And also I will be sending different links too about the states that you guys are in too. So I'll add them on here, okay? So you guys have definitely have a good night. Remember, I'm Victoria Randall. I am your pusher. And thank you so much for watching the CNA Instructor's Secret Cocktail. You guys have a good night.